things just go on the way they are, and we don't have any communication or whatever, then okay. If not, I am in a place in my life where I'm 100% able to be willing, open, and honest. And that means I might not be right. That means I could be wrong. That means that I'm able to participate in a healthy discussion. And I've proven that time and time again while in recovery. So here we are. Recovery is discovery, and sometimes you might not like what you uncover in the process. So from the Hove, we'll come back here in a bit. Well, this hasn't happened in a minute. So we dropped our phone yesterday, and I don't know if it disconnected the SIM card or what, because it says no SIM available, and then it worked again, and then it didn't. Well, anyway, now it's doing that. We didn't have GPS, and we took a wrong turn. Yeah, so this is the largest subdivision in the whole country, and yeah, not everybody can get lost in their own neighborhood where they live. But if you live in the Hove, you damn well can. And that, ladles and jelly spoons, is the way the cookie crumbles. So now we're late to work. Damn it. Why it is Damn Cam here with Damn Talk. Not too bad. In our 30s, and we feel like we're starting to kind of understand this adulting stuff. Although we haven't done our taxes yet, and that is something that is definitely hanging over our head. Speaking of over our head, if that was the microphone, you probably didn't hear much of anything after we walked outside, but any damn way, we heard from our guy today. He went MIA, and we started this new job, so it was really a bummer time, just bad timing. But anyway, he broke his phone, so he couldn't get a hold of us, and then of course got the phone, reached out, supposed to work today, and then he messaged this morning, said he cracked his head. Hopefully he's getting help for that, but apparently he didn't sleep at all, and he hit his head pretty hard, and he might not come in today. That's fine. I would much rather have him healthy rather than having something happen, especially because we do work on ladders, and balance and all that is sort of important. So moving along, we will hopefully have some help in the Hove today. Usually I do that once. I think that was like the third time this morning, but what the damn, here we are in the Hove. Should we ram it? No. No, we should not. Today's March 26th, and in an interesting turn of events here, we are almost late again. Not because we're lost, or because our GPS doesn't work because the SIM card is not working in our phone. It's not even really because we were dragging our feet watching YouTube shorts. It's because we took this morning to pay our credit card bills. Being a responsible adult, I suppose, is the correct coinage. Damn awful noise off. Truck probably won't start now for some damn reason. We know it's the starter. We ordered the parts, and let's see. We're wrong. It started right up. That's bizarre. We don't understand it. We're not automotively, mechanically inclined. We are, however, capable of measuring a roof. That is what we've gotten ourselves involved in right now. Yes, I 100% get it. Okay, fine. So basically, the word is, where's my key? There's our key. So yeah, the word is that we have to measure this sucker by hand, physical roof dimensions, because apparently the tax floor blueprint doesn't work. Seems like it'd be damn close to us anyway, but okay, we can do that. So we're gonna measure the roof with this sucker. And the other one, the creature, 32 footer, and the creature I think is a 16. But this is menial details that I won't bore the likes of any possible viewer with. Essentially, we need to move into this place like yesterday. We are paying interest, so just throwing money away by, having to pay for two places at once, essentially, and it's stressful and also impacts those around us for sure. But it's not like we're not constantly moving toward accomplishing all this. Anybody who watches would be like, well, if you weren't messing around on the damn cam so much, maybe you get more done. Maybe you're right. Or maybe we would start to question our own memory and recollection of events to the point that we would question our own sanity, or at least toy with the prospect of drinking alcohol or doing drugs again, or thinking that we could handle it in moderation, which would be a lie. And rather than lying to our damn self, we chronologue, emphasis on log, our damn self. So check this out, right? Hang on. Could be ladies watching. All right, check this out. So the person who had this built had a custom throne installed. This is the upstairs bathroom. They got the jacuzzi tub. We're not going to lie, we kind of like the black and white decorative design. But anyway, this is what will draw the eye. This is a custom built gravity toilet. Somewhat of a throne, actually. We've taken to calling this the throne because, as you will see, if it weren't for the vegetation, this would be a king's view of the ocean. Or should we say of the Hove. So yeah, okay, we need to get to the measuring. But yeah, we just want to show, you know how they say down there in the Wisconsin? And that doesn't sound like Wisconsin, sounds kind of Scottish maybe, I don't know. Switched around now, it sounds kind of like maybe I'm the retarded Arnold Schwarzenegger. We know. All right. Let's see here. March is our month, baby. What do we mean? Well, I mean, both birthdays are in March. And we've always liked March for that reason, of course. Being a kid, you like the month your birthday's in, I suppose. But then also, spring. And it's the third month, which is kind of interesting. Because if anybody knows anything about numerology, 3 is the secret to the universe, and 3 times 2 is 6, and we were born on the 6th day of the third month, which is interesting as well. At least to us it is. And we were born in 92, so we are the proverbial 369 with the 2, and 2 has always been our lucky number since we were very, very little. It's too small to contemplate whether or not it was because of that reason, because of the extra 2, 369, 2, but maybe that's why. We need a 32-foot ladder. a 32 footer. Not good. Damn it. Although, we really only need about an extra 3 or 4 feet. Got sort of an idea here. Is, you know, our sobriety date, recovery day, the day we put down the dope and alcohol. We don't consciously recall being numerologically aware enough to connect those dots. Any damn way, we are procrastinating. And this house, it could be procrastination. Could make a flag and everything. Anyway, we need to get some more, like 4 feet out of that ladder. There is a way to do it. Just don't see if I have what I need. Stay tuned. Mildly annoying at the least, right? Get rid of that turn signal sound. All right, so this is, we're headed home. We're tired. We measured the roof, got back, did some caulking, picked our employee up, dropped him back off at his house, and now we are headed back to our house. Bamboo. We heard an interesting segment on a show that we listen to, one of the shows we listen to on a regular basis. And it was interesting because it was a problem that we have actually been wrestling with ourselves recently, and, you know, throughout boyhood and to manhood and yeah, so it's sort of a touchy deal. If you guys have ever heard of Dr. Andrew Huberman or Huberman, Dr. Huberman, Huberman, was recently featured in a hit piece. New York Magazine wrote a lengthy article trying to basically discredit the guy for having radical, outlandish beliefs. He is a biologist, I believe, maybe a neurobiologist. We're not sure. We do know that he does have credentials, maybe not so much in telling people specifically how to lead their life and in all its health. The guy's not just some whack, and he's helped millions of people, like you'll see in this clip here. But you know, something that we will 100% reiterate is the dopamine deal. So dopamine has nothing to do with the fact our voice just cracked right there. We're not quite sure what that is. Maybe we've been using it more than it's allotted for, so it's cracking. Or maybe we're going through a second puberty. Is this something we could become more of a man? Is this a quality? Not a quality. Is this a pronoun category in its own? More man? Wait, Mormon? No, that's a different thing. We're not here to talk religion. What we are here to talk about is an interrupting call. We interrupt this message to talk to my father. Well, Dad sounds tired. He's been tired. I suggested to him it might be the spike protein thing. Apparently, if you've had multiple... I don't even know if that was recording. Okay, Dad's all right, but he sounds tired. If you've had multiple COVID shots, it could have affected this thing called spike proteins. It's your ability to break down fats and get nutrients from it, I guess, because the way that these vaccines administered themselves to us was by Numi. That's not a symptom of the vaccine. It's not a COVID cough either. But yeah, it could have screwed up your spike proteins and the way that you metabolize any damn way. We're not a biologist or anything, so. Jacking off. How's that for a segue? Yeah, arguably not healthy, though we don't think it's healthy to completely abstain or refrain from weasel work either. I mean, think about this, okay? The hit piece is essentially, and on one hand, it could be seen as a defending pornography. And porn is something that I suppose varies, but like this clip that you will see, it is inarguably, unless you're actually like engaging in it and being filmed or filming, unless you're taking part in it, then it is voyeurism. And voyeurism can be very harmful to one's mojo, if you will. And now we're going to speak personal preference. Like, for sure, we've struggled before. It's one of those things that can become a monster if untamed or unchecked, and not so much in being addicted to release, right? More the quality or specifics of the content that would actually get us aroused to the point of release. Yeah, we could definitely see why this is like an uncomfortable subject, and maybe why a lot of men don't talk about this. So it's not just if you're single, like you're gonna kill your libido, your sex drive or whatever. And for sure, like if you are single and you're out there smashing it or whatever, maybe you follow somebody like Andrew Tate, who, you know, sure, he has a few attributes of manhood that might be desirable, although we will make the case that someone like Jordan Peterson has the same attributes and more, as well as a lack of what we see as really off-putting qualities, not just in someone else, but like we see Tate has qualities we wish to alleviate in ourselves. So that's what we'll say about that. And obviously Peterson is somebody we vibe with. That's not, you know, we don't keep that a secret. We're not ashamed of that. Although mainstream news, since he came into prominence, has really attacked him as well as being alt-right and scary conservative and do. And really, he's a clinical psychologist who worked with the police in Canada for many, many, many years, interviewing some of the most heinous criminals, just really nasty stuff. And he learned a lot. I'm sure he became a professor at the University of Toronto, we believe, and then he rose to sort of internet fame when he took a vocal stance on forcing administration or individuals to use certain pronouns on campus, compelled speech. And Mr. Peterson, Dr. Peterson, Professor Peterson said he would absolutely not do that because it's not good for anybody, and you could investigate further. We found that this conversation could go a whole variety of ways. We found Peterson back in 2021 while we were waiting for our son to be born, and I guess we can cut to that clip. First, we're going to show you this, the Rubin Report. Dave Rubin covered the hit piece, New York, Dr. Huberman, what we're talking about here. And then we're going to cut to the clip of us earlier addressing Peterson, Dr. Peterson himself, and a little guy known as Destiny. Yeah, okay, enough said.
numerous affairs. So now you might go, you might not know who he is. I didn't know a ton about him until the last couple of days, actually. Really, really interesting guy. But he's extremely popular podcaster. So now why are they picking a new guy to go after? And we've seen this a million times, right? As I just said, we've seen it with Rogan. We've seen it with Russell Brand. We know how the machine operates. We've seen it with that cover of the New York Times that I have sitting right behind me in the office when they said that me and Milton Friedman were the leaders of the alt-right. But the reason they go after these people is because they go after anyone who is trying to get to something true, trying to get to something outside of that little Overton window of the things that they want us to talk about. And that is a huge, huge problem. So I want to show you one. You just tell me if this guy strikes you as a right-wing maniac or someone that should be taken out or anything else. Here he is talking with Jordan Peterson about the effects of pornography on young men in our society.
The absolutely pathologic situations for any animal or human is to be able to access repeated dopamine surges without effort or any pursuit that's self-directed or that's directed, I should say. So for instance, cocaine, a drug which potently increases dopamine, or methamphetamine, which potently increases methamphetamine, but doesn't require any sort of adaptive action pursuit except to acquire the drug and spend money on it. No sacrifice. So what ends up happening is the circuit that gets rewarded is only the drug-seeking behavior, and no other behavior will give the kind of potent dopamine release that cocaine or methamphetamine will, which is why they are so pernicious. Now, likewise, right. I'm not...
Well, plus they have that powerful reinforcing effect, right? So not only do you get that kick, but what's reinforced by the dopamine release is the behaviors that were right prior, particularly right prior to the ingestion. And if all that is the drug-taking behavior, that's all that develops.
That's right.
You build that monster inside your head.
That's right.
So I can see where you're going on the pornography front.
Right. So I was starting to get a lot of questions. I was kind of surprised. I thought, well, I'm male and, maybe that's why they feel comfortable asking. But people were saying, we're asking about pornography, and they were asking, I realize we want to, I'll just be direct about it. They were asking whether or not masturbation was bad. They were asking whether or not masturbation with ejaculation was particularly bad. And here's my stance on this. I'm a biologist and a neuroscientist, not a psychologist. But what we know for sure is that if an individual repeatedly engages in this circuitry, let's say masturbation and pornography with increasingly potent forms of stimulation that are on a screen, a couple of things happen. First of all, what's being reinforced? What's being reinforced is a high dopaminergic response to watching other people engage in sexual behavior, which is very different than being in a first-person sexual experience. Okay, so right there, that what's being reinforced is not actually any kind of improvement in communication skills. It's voyeurism. And as these questions started to come in more and more, I started to realize there was a lot of kind of undertones of people talking about fear of or experience with sexual dysfunction that clearly pornography can lead to. The point is this: masturbation and pornography are potently tapping into the dopamine system and can undermine the very processes of what I consider healthy processes of finding a mate, dating, communication, eventually, if it's appropriate, sexual interaction, etc.
It's undermining pair bonding.
All right, I know this can be a little awkward to talk about, but there's a reason I wanted to show you that clip. First off, you get the understanding that this guy knows what he's talking about. Also, he's talking with Jordan, which adds a little heft to it for why I wanted to show it to you. But the system is going after him because he's talking about some of the things that people are struggling with, right? We constantly are telling young men that they're bad basically by birth and that they have everything stacked for them while we're constantly attacking them and everything else. And clearly there is a huge problem here when it comes to porn and OnlyFans and all of that stuff, right? And that's just a reality. But the system is coming for him because it's why the system comes for people like Jordan Peterson, why the system comes for people like Joe Rogan, why the system comes for people like Russell Brand. It's like if you start helping people get out of their problems, whatever they may be, right? We don't have to just talk about this from a porn perspective. Whatever you're addicted to, whatever your problem is, whatever is not allowing you to become the best person, the system wants you to be kind of broken. The system kind of wants you to not be in the proper relationship. The system kind of wants you not to build the proper family and take responsibility for yourself and all of those things, because then you will be reliant on the system. That is exactly what is happening here. I want to show you two tweets that I think illustrate this quite nicely. Charlie Kirk wrote this about the article, the New York Magazine article that I just referenced there. This is what happens when you get super popular, even if you avoid politics. The media will try and massacre you. Andrew Huberman is fantastic. He's super smart and has helped millions of people lead healthier, happier lives. Yet the media doesn't see that. They see a rich, straight man who is challenging the pharma state. He's attacking one of their main sources of ad revenue, so they must smear him. The media is a vile, sinister hate machine that never builds, only seeks to destroy. I want to show you one other from another person kind of in this help world, the self-help world of LiverDoc. He wrote, Andrew Huberman is the biggest name in pop medical science on social media right now. No doubts there. He has put out great content. No doubts again. I disagree with him on certain topics like supplements, endorsement, and his overconfident clinical advice based on weak evidence when he is not a medical doctor. But this cover story here from the New York Magazine is a dirty hit job on Huberman. It was not required. It's a trash piece replete with ad hominem and personal attacks. He does not deserve this. Sad that this is the price one has to pay for fame. So
I don't think it's because we're lonely. In fact, arguably we function better alone when it comes to work and when it comes to editing things or whatever the case. We do like to work with a team, on a team. That is also desirable. We don't think that that's, you know, we said to our girl the other day, we really want to get into a debate. And she's like, you do that all the time. I'm like, come on. We're talking about a real one, you know, like a structured debate with a preordained, pre-agreed upon format, procedure, you know, opening statements, arguments, etc. That is something we absolutely want to do. Side note, we saw that our favorite professor did a 2-hour interview with somebody we know very little about, but we do know about. His name is Destiny. I don't know if that's his real birth name or not, but anyway, our initial opinion of the guy is if Bo Burnham was to dabble in philosophy. It's not an insult. At least it's not supposed to be. It's just what we thought. We found ourselves thinking when we first came across Destiny on the Tim Pool show, I believe. We were watching a clip from that about something or other, and he was on there. We're like, okay, you know, somebody relatively close to our own age with ideas that seemed on par with our own understanding at one point in time. So it was really interesting to see, oh wow, Dr. Jordan Peterson sat down with this guy, and then we had to laugh. The top comment, we didn't, you know, you can always see the top one comment on a video, and so you see it there as you're watching part of this video. It says, I'm getting too old, or maybe I'm too old. I just don't understand what the big deal is with this Destiny guy. And then he went on to say something like he seems like a something or other, right? So what do we have to do to get in front of Dr. Peterson? Jordan, it's weird calling you Jordan, but we do feel like we know you. Essentially, we were exposed to your work, your old lectures in 2021 while we were awaiting the birth of our first child. We were living in a Oxford house that's like a sober living house, and we were actually sleeping on the couch because it was full. We had 8 other roommates, and there wasn't a bed open, and we thought there would be, of course, and so we slept on the couch for 7 months, it turned out to be. And then we actually left because not because a bed came open, but our son was born. And I'll never forget, we were mowing the lawn there. It was our weekly chore for the week, and then we were listening to some music, and we saw a recommended video for some reason, I think. And it was you, Dr. Peterson. And the personal responsibility that was injected mainline since then, we will say, is unmatched. So we even suggested you recently to somebody, a young man who would probably very much benefit from your work. We listened to a part of the interview, and we're going to listen to the whole thing and comment more on it. But absolutely, you know, hell, I mean, damn, we'll sit down with Jordan and Destiny and so, just to wrap it up here, and yes, we will wrap it up. No pun intended. What do we mean? Doesn't matter. Let's finish this up before we get back to our amazing K team. Even in long-term relationships, you know, pornography is 100% dangerous. It's not cheating, you know, unless you and your partner have decided together that somehow it is, but we don't believe that it is logically or philosophically cheating. It might be cheating yourself, however. You might be cheating yourself out of a more pleasurable experience with the one that you love, of being intimate with them. And yeah, I mean, challenge yourself, right? Go X amount of time without watching fill in the blank. We're not talking about Dr. Phil's new show, Fill in the Blank. We're talking about you filling in the blank, like sacrificing something. Okay, you like blondes with big tits. You're not going to watch that. Or maybe even sacrifice, you know, pornography altogether. Try a week, try 2 weeks. See what your mental state's like, and then if you are in a relationship, you don't have to hide this from your partner. You don't have to gloat about it. Just see how that goes. And then if you find yourself irritable, don't put that on your partner. Maybe just find a way to do something nice to initiate, you know, an alternative to looking up pornography. Because no matter what the New York Times says, it's not necessarily a good thing. Funky times we live in. Any damn way. Till tomorrow.